WOKB AM, Winter Garden, Florida.
This is your host, Jay Real from Real Family Talk. We are here live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. This is Hump Day. Listen to the show and enjoy your Wednesday night.
Gospel 1680 WOKB, your urban empowerment and inspiration station.
We are the pulse. Without a pulse, you're dead.
We are the heart and soul of the community. Gospel 1680 AM.
Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another edition of Real Family Talk. This is your host, Jay Real. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday evening. We're back. We took a week off last week, but we're back this week. We're ready to go. We're going to talk to you tonight. We're going to just bring some different things and put it on the table, see what you're thinking, see what we're thinking, and just kind of go off the cuff here a little bit, man. So we're going to have some fun tonight. Let's go ahead and welcome everybody in the building. Miss McCrae's in the building. She's back. How you doing, Miss McCrae?
Each day gets better.
That's what I'm talking about. Each day is better, Miss McCrae. We have a guest also joining us tonight. He may not say too much, but the first time in the building, but we'll see what happens. His name is Rod. How you doing, Rod?
I'm well. How are you?
We're doing all right, man. We're doing all right.
Hey,
but
Rod.
feel free, like we said before the show, Rod, anything you want to comment on, man, just jump on the mic and say what you got to say. As long as you don't cuss, man, we all right.
That's it.
I think I can accommodate that. I think I can accommodate you.
It's a challenge.
And holding it down for us.
All right.
And holding it down for us until Jeremy gets in the building. Mr. Chris Shaw's in the building. How you doing, Chris?
Greetings, my brothers and sister.
Real quick.
Was that close enough? Was that somewhat good enough? What
good
your other
enough.
brother would do?
That's good enough,
okay.
man.
I'm just trying to make sure I got right now.
I'm with it.
They always, when we get ready to have fun, everybody want to come in and just kick me out. The minute we get ready to have fun, everybody just want to come in and kick me out.
Hold on. This first thing I'm going to mention, brother, you just showed me, brother. We were just watching some videos before we came on the air. And this one video that Chris Shaw and a few ladies that was in the building with him were watching. I've already posted it to the Real Family
you posted
Talk
it
Facebook
already?
page.
You have
so
got
I
to
would
see
love
it.
for you to go check this video out off the Real Family Facebook page. But there is a brother. A brother he's not praise dancing. He's pole dancing.
That's right. It's
to
called
Jesus.
pole.
Excuse
He
me?
Poles
is
dancing
pole dancing to Jesus.
Let me pull this.
Some things we just not have.
Let me pull
The internet
this
is not
up.
useful.
It's on the Real Family Talk Facebook page with Chris.
And he is going in.
He's going in.
He is going in.
Pole dancing.
In the church?
No.
He
I
just-
guess he's at the house. He's got
At
a
the
pole
crib
at
or
the
somewhere,
crib.
but
Got
whatever.
a pole at somebody's house anyway, and he is pole dancing. He's pole dancing. What was the song? It's Hezekiah Walker. What was the name of the song?
I need you to survive.
I need you to survive.
Okay.
And he went in. I mean, all the way around, all the way up,
The
down.
brother, the brother got body strength. He's got upper body
Yeah,
strength.
he do. I got to give it to him now. Because some ministries are just not for me, and that's not my ministry. Okay, I'm just gonna say it like that. I just stick with what I do best: singing and talking.
He's pole dancing, Miss McCrae. Pole dancing for Jesus. Is that all right, Miss McCrae? Can you pole dance for Jesus? Is that possible?
Just
Why
like
not?
there's no such, you can't do trap gospel, Erica. They don't mix. It's oil and water. You can't do that. I love God.
You can't do I love God.
No.
Is that to say then all of the Christian rappers that we got out here, are they also in the wrong, Miss McCrae? Or?
I'm not a fan of it.
Oh.
But some of those songs don't sound like trap, though.
Well, it doesn't sound like trap, but it does oftentimes remind you of the first time you heard the original song.
Well,
If it's laid over Earth, Wind, and Fire, I'm not thinking about Jesus
I'm
at that
not.
particular time.
I'm thinking
So
about.
You think about
I could
Earth,
be
Wind, and
wrong.
Fire?
I can be thinking about the three elements.
But you can't just sample though. Can't just sample.
You can sample, but I'm thinking of the last sample when it was original. So
The
I'm
true
sorry.
sample.
I'm thinking of the true sample.
We here.
Okay.
We here.
Yes,
Okay.
that's for sure.
The real deal.
But no, that's not the only one. You got to look on. You continue to look on that website. You're gonna find another one.
Just go to the Real Family Talk Facebook page. It's not there. Oh, maybe is it on my? Let me look.
Yours?
There's
another one, and it just blew my mind. I almost lost my breath. I stopped breathing for a moment when I saw a gentleman in Atlanta, Georgia, singing "I Don't See Nothing Wrong."
With a little Jesus.
No, right. That's just the way it went. I don't see nothing wrong with serving a little Jesus or serving Jesus, something like that.
Yeah, it is on the Jimmy Smith page.
Yeah, so when you get time, I'm sorry. I know who am I to judge?
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to judge, but I'm sorry. I'm judging that one. I'm just going to tell you the truth.
You know, obviously there's a market for it because people enjoy it. I'm just not one that would purchase trap gospel.
What makes it trap? What makes gospel trap?
The beat on "I Love God" is straight up. You could just take away her lyrics and add Jeezy, whoever, in the mix, and it'll ride just as hard.
I can't be that hard for God neither, though.
Yes, if I was, absolutely.
I was hard in the streets. Why I can't do the same thing for God?
You can be hard. It's just the trap sound.
I'm trying to trap you in the mix, though.
I'm in the mix.
You don't need no extra trap.
I don't need it. I love God.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
I love him. I love him. I love him. I love him.
And it is L-U-H.
Gunfire in the background.
But it is L-U-H. Love. What is that, Erica?
Well, you know what it is? It's the fact that, what is she? She's got to be at least 40, I'd imagine. Or late 30s.
Closer to 50.
She's 50?
I'm going to guess.
Nah, they're not 50.
Closer.
They got to be something in there, at least 40, in the 40 range.
They in that bracket. They in that bracket with our parents. I would say, somewhere in that bracket with our parents.
I apologize. Come run that back in the age of our whom did you say?
I'm trying to
did you say
Bubba?
Yeah, I was wondering. Did you say
she is
parent?
43.
Okay, that's where probably you draw the line, because at a 43-year-old can't use the word love.
I don't
it's kind of like, come on, man.
Gospel.
If she was 22, then you might understand.
I don't want Kiara to say love either.
Okay, so what's the difference between Dougie Fresh still trying to rap and R. Kelly doing what he doing with today's music that's going on?
That's a good.
Well, I'll say this. Well, one, I'll give you, it is a different version, but I'll say this about R. Kelly. I appreciate R. Kelly when he doesn't try and hang with the new kids. That's what I appreciate. Which, to me, if he could leave all that to the side and just do him. I mean, no, he's not. He's never going to be a platinum artist again, because that's just not the day and age we're in. But I think his music would be a lot more relevant if he would just stick. I mean, the man has made everything from gospel music all the way to, obviously, some of the raunchiest R&B that you could think of. You know what I'm saying? So he has a range way beyond, some of the things that he continues to produce and put out. So from that perspective, I think he could leave some of that stuff to the side too, and just, hey, you can make another Happy People album. You know what I'm saying? Come on, all that music was great.
Well, now, in fairness, now the word tells us that, he would teach us to be fishermen of souls, right? So you all fish the same way. Is that not true?
That's true.
100.
Okay. So now, because it doesn't win me, now I'm just, this is just Rogerology. You can take this and keep it, or you can throw it out with the bathwater if you want to. In some places, they buy you coffee and donuts. Other places, get you kicked out. But if it doesn't work for me, I know how to turn it off. I don't have to listen to it.
You're right. You're right about that.
Do I agree with it? No, because I think that there's a way to do everything. But I grew up in a time where you had 3 sets of clothing. Mm-hmm. Church clothes, school clothes, and play clothes.
Right.
Now everything is one clothing.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Everything is crossover. What you wear to church now, you can wear to school. What you wear to school, oftentimes people play with.
What you can wear to the club, you can wear to the church.
Well, now, see, the club, that's a whole different thing now. That was before the club. I wasn't going to go there, but I had those clothes, too. I wasn't going to bring that up, but if you want the whole truth, then there it is. So I don't think it works for me, but some people.
It does. To me, I'm a big fan of a lot of the Christian rap and Christian related R&B music that they put out. You know what I'm saying? We got a local station that plays a lot of that stuff, and I'm actually a big fan of that. And one of the things that I've done because of that to expose my young son. I don't really want him obviously listening to radio, because radio is full of garbage. But one of the things I do is I put on, or I introduce him to a lot of those artists, those Christian R&B artists, those Christian rap artists. And so he's still, quote unquote, listening to he's still listening to rap and R&B, but everything he's hearing is all related to God in some way, shape, or form. So I'm a big fan of that stuff. I really don't have a problem. I agree with you. I think, again, based on Erica Campbell's age, you know what I'm saying, I listen to her and I go, I don't really like that record from you. But a lot of these young guys, I'm a big fan of what you got Dizzle out there, you got Lecrae out there, you got Andy Mineo out there. These dudes are monsters, man. They can hang with all of the, your popular secular rap artists. You know what I'm saying? Even your like I said, your R&B artists like the Canton Jones and T. Hattie and those people, And I'm in agreement with you. When I first heard it, I still don't really vibe it, but because of my job and what I do, and I have to play it here and there. Not saying I have to run it like crazy, right? But I do have to play it. But that's just, to me, that's not Erica Campbell. When I play other songs that she has done, I need just a little more Jesus. I'm gravy with that. But that I love God. What's wrong with you? You ain't from the South like that. You ain't from the gutter.
They from Compton though. I think they're from Oakland.
Right. That's a West South.
I mean, really, that's real deal.
So that's just my stand with it, but I do it because I have to.
Gotcha.
I love God.
What's wrong with you?
Hey, well, aside from it, I know I'm taking it in a different direction, but that's just what I tend to do. With the I love God situation, we tend to get a bad rap for not being able to enunciate words as it is.
That's all I'm saying.
And then you turn around and now you're making a living. Well, not so much a living, almost a mockery. But that's my take.
Right. And again, I think it's age thing, though, because the young kids do it all the time.
Oh, I don't want it from them either. Not in gospel.
40. Come on, you in your 40s, man. We can do better than that.
Really?
Like I said, we can do better than that.
I'm watching this video. This is ridiculous.
You found the video?
Sir.
Pole dancing for Jesus.
What are you doing?
He's pole dancing.
Surviving for God.
Now, so he is pole dancing to Christian music?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
I need you now.
He's pole dancing, and he has Hezekiah Walker as his go-to music in the background. And he is intense.
I mean, he got skills.
478-946-1680 is the number. 478-946-1680 if you want to join these conversations, man. But yeah, he's Real Family Talk. It's on. I had to put it on the Facebook page. I made a mistake, but it's up now. Pole dancing for Jesus, man. We got an evangelist on the phone. I want to mess this up. Is Evangelist Naomi? Is that how you say that?
Yes, this is Evangelist Sister Naomi.
Naomi, okay.
Listen, thank you. But thank you for taking my call. No problem. But what I was saying is that song with Erica, where it almost sounds like she's trying to say Jesus is the end thing. It's like, what's wrong with you? It's like, you're not done with this. You don't wear pants. Like a skinny jeans or pants with the cuff up. Like it's the end thing to do. It's a fad. What's wrong with you? It's mocking Jesus. Jesus is real. He's not a fad. He's not your homeboy. He's not your cuz. Right. Jesus is the awesome. You know what I mean? He's the awesome God. He's the Alpha and the Omega. He deserves honor and praise. He's not your social butterfly end thing to be with. So there's nothing wrong with you. I think there's something wrong with that message that's coming out, and I don't really like it. I mean, I have respect for Erica. She comes out with beautiful songs, but that one right there, something wrong with that.
Right. I agree with you on that. I'm definitely with you. I appreciate your comment, Evangelist.
Thank you for calling.
478-946-1680, 478-946-1680.
I'm still watching this video, people. I'm sorry. This man...
I told you this occurred.
I don't. All right.
Well, what's to be said about the argument that it's not for everybody? Now, do you think that will reach someone at all?
Oh, absolutely.
It's
riding out. People.
No.
The song?
I'm asking you that form, if we want to use the term loosely, ministry.
Yeah.
is that it doesn't work for you?
Right.
I get that.
Right.
Do you think that someone will be won over with that behavior?
Won over?
Well, that's
I don't
that's
know.
The purpose.
That's the I mean, that's the question.
I think it'll sell albums, and maybe the rest of her music will reach other people. I'm praying the whole album isn't like that. I don't think it is, Erica, but it's it's reaching people. All their upbeat stuff reaches people in different areas that probably hadn't been in church in years.
It probably does.
Does it stick?
No, you say reach. What do you mean by reach?
Like they enjoy it.
Okay.
Meaning they'll sing along to it. They enjoy it. They be like, well, that's my song, girl.
But is that reaching, or is that them just enjoying a song?
Both, because they're hearing
It's
it,
both.
and it's you know how they say every music seeps into you, even if you don't
Seeps
want
into
to.
your soul, yeah.
It's seeping into them. It might not hold, but it seeps into them, I think. I'm not a fan of that song, but I'm looking forward to the rest of her album. I'm hoping the rest of the album is real Erica, Campbell, Mary, that whole for real, minister to me for real.
We'll find out.
As an adult, I mean, he is like
She is mesmerized by this video.
It's the song choice.
Hey man, let's keep it moving here. Here's another topic. I saw in a news story, they are going to, of course, where Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, where he was, the ground where he was shot and killed. Of course, they had created a memorial with a lot of stuffed animals and stuff. You know, we see that a lot. But they are now saying they're going to remove the stuffed animals and then do a permanent memorial, some type of plaque that they're going to put there in its place. And so here's my question. Do we need a permanent memorial for Michael Brown? Is that necessary?
Is it to keep people from burning it? Because I know for a while there, people would come and destroy it. They would rebuild it, destroy it, rebuild it, destroy it, rebuild it.
No, this is not. You know, they did a press conference with the mayor, you know, and the Urban League, and all these people are getting together to do a permanent plaque.
Is it to affect change? Like, is this going to be in remembrance of how we used to be and not to go back? Or
No, this is in remembrance of Michael Brown.
Well, not to take anything from Michael Brown, but Michael Brown's not the first incident.
Thank you.
Now,
That's
prayerfully, he may be the last, but we know he won't be the last because there's been some since him. But the question is, do you make a memorial for each individual that this has happened to? And then to look at the other side of it, is it just a black issue? Are we only going to make memorials for black individuals, or that's all we're concerned with?
Well, you know that's all we're concerned with.
That's all.
But
We're
that's all we're concerned with. But here's my thing. Why are we making a memorial? My biggest reason for asking this question is because from all of the information that we've had on this young man, okay, I'm not saying that he was the grimiest individual on the planet,
Okay.
but he was certainly not a saint, which is, of course, what we painted him as. But as facts came out about him, and these are facts, right? It was a fact that he went into a store and stole a whole box of cigars so that he can do what he do.
That wasn't true.
You saw the video, didn't you?
No, but that was a separate incident.
I didn't say it had anything to do with what ended up getting him killed. I'm just saying that's what he did.
Never mind.
But you were intimating like they were one and the same.
No, I'm intimating that this is a part of his history.
Well, but we all have a history. Does that mean that the thing prior to us getting killed, we should pull in whatever was in our history to validate the point?
It validates that I don't necessarily know that we need to be putting a plaque up in honor.
I can agree with that. That he wasn't a Boy Scout, if you will, to use the term. Okay.
We got Sister Renee on the phone. How you doing, Sister Renee?
I'm doing good.
What's your comment tonight?
My comment is, why are we memorializing someone that didn't obey the Lord, number one? He stole at one point at some time. He pushed somebody around, like the manager in the store in the video. And then we're going to memorialize that? What is that? That's sending a negative message. All right? All these people that were shot, killed, they weren't clean. Their record wasn't clean. They weren't innocent. Yes, it was wrong that they were shot, but we're sending a bad message. Two wrongs don't make a right.
There you go.
Why are you making a memorial? That means every person that steals, that ran away from or doing drugs and running away from cops gets shot in the back with no weapon. We need to memorialize them. This is ridiculous. We have to memorialize someone that did something great, like Martin Luther King. I can understand having a memorial for him, but then causing a riot after that, people burning down their own town. Nah, man, we don't memorialize that. That's sending a negative message.
All right, I thank you for your comments, Sister Renee.
God bless you.
God bless you, too. Thank you for calling. 407-894-1680 is the number, 407-894-1680. That's my point. I mean, we're memorializing a guy who, yes, we can all agree there was a lot of shady things that happened in terms of that led to his death. But regardless of what led to his death, we're still memorializing somebody that, wasn't clean. And even in his situation, his hands weren't clean, from what we can tell.
And I can appreciate that, but even if his hands were squeaky clean, I still don't think that we should memorialize one individual when it has happened numerous times.
Right.
I'm not taking anything from Michael Brown or anyone else, but I can't give him any. I can't promote him either.
Right.
So I just think if you're going to make a memorial, you do like they did in New York with the Twin Towers and just make a big memorial honoring everyone.
Right.
And like I said, if it's to affect change, like if the
this is
city
just to
of Ferguson
memorialize
has
Brown.
said this is a reminder, so this is a catalyst to change in our community, blah, blah, blah. But since we know it's not.
Right.
Well, do we know it's not?
It didn't say anything about that in the article.
Well, I would say this. One, I would say I would leave it up to that local community in general anyway. Because although he was not squeaky clean or whatever you want, the case may have every memorial is really just a symbol of a group of something. Like we memorialize Dr. King, but it's not just about him. It's about the civil rights movement as a whole. So although he may not be squeaky clean, I don't see a problem if they memorialized him as and let's say maybe just not in him. Maybe they were able to compile names because, like I say, the local community, they know who else they had the shady stuff going on with. So if they want to come through and put names all around with the area of St. Louis, I don't have a problem with it because, like I say, it can be a reminder of things that happened that went wrong and why things should be better. A lot of times people don't. It's like we said before. We do the marching, we do all that stuff, but after that, a lot of times we forget. And sometimes memorials are just that; they're just reminders. It's like, I guess not similar to some degree, as I forgot the gentleman. He was seeking in Selma to have marks put in Selma because Selma was a big spot in the slave trade, but they were fighting it. The city of Selma was fighting because they didn't want the image.
Right.
But he wanted to mark it because it was, for people to forget, the history of it.
Okay.
And along those lines, I would say I wouldn't have a problem with it, But, I mean, nobody's perfect. We can't say, he's not squeaky clean, so you don't want to do it. Truth be told, they had dirt on King, too, so.
That's why I said it's not about his image to me as
right.
much as it is what it
represents.
Stands for, what it represents, correct.
I guess, brother. I guess, but I don't know.
That's why I would say you leave it up to the local community because I don't.
It is up to the local community.
Yeah,
but
I would say as us coming in, we in Orlando, telling them.
Could have did something better.
Telling them, oh, y'all should memorialize him. That's a symbol for the community. I don't see a problem with it.
I hear you. It's a symbol for the community, and in the article they talk about, the community and moving forward and sort of. I guess they feel like what happened to him maybe is going to be the beginning of change, I guess. But Nah, I don't see it, bro. we could have did something
Why
better.
you go speak that on that community? You don't know what that change gonna bring.
No, I'm not saying that they're not going to change. Hopefully they do change. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the change that they need. I mean, well, at least they got two newly elected black city council members.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll provide some change. You know what I'm saying? Baltimore doesn't necessarily bode well in that situation, but hey, maybe it will. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? I know we've been told that there's a lot of groups that are funding money and trying to get organized down there to encourage some other black people to run for other offices in that city and that township or whatever. So maybe there will be change, but yeah, I'm not sure about this Michael Brown world. But I'm sure. I mean, at the end of the day, does it put a smile on the family's face? I'm sure it does. I'm sure the family's happy and all that jazz. So, but being that we obviously know that there's going to be no charges filed or anything of that nature in relation to the officer. So I'm sure it puts a smile on the family's face, but yeah, I don't know. They're according to the article, they're even keeping and storing all of the stuffed animals that were there. I don't know what they're going to do with them, but they're putting them in storage so that they actually have those things as well. But yeah, I don't know about that. 407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. A couple other things, man. I'm sure you saw in the news. It seems like Harriet Tubman might be on
the dub
on one of the dollar bills there. Huh?
I saw that, but I was like, is that really real, or is this like a good idea somebody came up with?
Is it a good idea? That's a question.
See, there's another question.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm be just saying I don't know, but when I'm looking at my money, and we got a theme going here with presidents. We got a theme, and I know obviously, like going back to all the presidents weren't clean. Say Jackson was a slave owner. He wasn't the only one.
I'm sure they always.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. So
only presidents weren't on money. You got Susan B. Anthony.
Oh yeah, I forget about that.
So they're just expanding.
You got the Buffalo nickel.
Yeah, if you want to come up with new currency and then put her on, I don't have a problem with that. But honestly, I don't see the point of taking somebody off currency and then putting somebody on.
Right.
Like, Jackson, what did he, I mean, you know what I'm saying? What, did something happen that he's not worthy of the 20? that he been on for X amount of years?
Well,
right.
They change. People want change.
But why are we changing currency?
That's an easy start to change of inclusion of women in things. And so,
but currency, I mean, it's a whole bunch of stuff you can do. Ain't nobody paying attention to that?
Well, now they will, maybe, just for a hot minute.
Why don't we just put no, ain't she on stamps? Oh, that's right. We don't use stamps no more.
No,
but Google had her on. Don't the Google got an image of her?
Before long,
everybody use Google.
The Google.
Exactly.
Won't be using cash money.
Why don't we put on some debit cards or something?
Right.
I'm serious, but that's to me that's more relevant to these times. Most people don't even carry cash no more, except for rappers.
I think the expense of changing the money.
But
it's even worth it.
But speaking of that, to me, that's another problem of it. Everybody already know the money is getting ready to be obsolete. Why change it?
And
so what is it going to mean? 10 years later, we won't even print 20s no more.
Because it's sentimental. There's going to be a segment of the population that's going to feel.
Hey, y'all go.
That's going to feel a certain type of way because
so not racist done now, right? Because Tubman on the 20. Hey, that's another thing because the Obama president, Harriet Tubman 20, so now racism is done.
Yeah.
Well, that's killing two birds with one stone.
But that's what's going to happen, right? That's what's going to happen. Am I right? Jim, you already know the radio you listen to, that's going to be the second point. Well, Harriet Tubman's under 22. It's gone. It's obsolete now.
It's all wrapped up.
Yeah.
What was you to say, Rod?
I was about to say that same thing, that there's probably some women who feel like, well, yeah, a woman should be on some money. Well, women already on money,
right.
Number one. And number two, that could be the same argument that we could make as people of color and say, well, there's no one of color or there's no real presence of color on money. There is no presence of color on money.
Right.
So we can make the same argument. I just don't think that spending the money to make a change on money is necessary. I think that is something to add to the budget for what's the purpose? Is it going to make it go further?
Nope.
It's gonna make you keep it longer. Oh, this money here has Harriet Tubman on it. I'm
right.
hang on to this.
Y'all gonna save it?
Absolutely not. No.
We gonna collect it.
Right.
Still gonna spend it.
Y'all collect it at the nearest store.
The least amount.
Well, is Harriet Tubman the right black woman to put on there? We're gonna try and put a black woman on there, or is there better choices?
I think there's definitely better choices in the.
I mean, see, now I got a question. Who is a better choice than the woman who helped free some of us? I mean,
Thank you.
Well, some of us still aren't free.
Well,
that's true, but she ain't got nothing to do with that. She did her part.
still slaves to the money that she's on.
She took her pistol and was running up and down the East Coast.
Correct.
I mean, who else you go get?
Correct.
You know, I mean, a lot of people had nice voices, had some nice poetry, had some nice books, but come on now,
come on
feet
now.
on the ground.
You've got Dorothy Hyde. You've got Shirley Chisholm. There's several people that have been very influential that I don't know if the whole argument you were making about slavery is Harriet Tubman relevant enough to pass to go on money. Not is she relevant in the general sense, but is she relevant enough to where that could stand before a legislative body and be voted in?
I would say yes, because she's less dangerous. Because she don't have books out that last extended time. Seriously, think about it. You know, words last forever.
Sure.
So she don't have books out. It's like now it's kind of like a story.
Right.
You know, so it's a story. But when you're speaking of other people, like you say, they're good writers, good singers, things that are timeless, things that could potentially change minds 2-3 generations from now, as opposed to hearing this story about Harriet Tubman. So it's like, oh yeah, let's get her. You know.
She's safe.
Well, actually, it was voted on.
Right.
That's kind of how it came apart. And,
Yeah.
And she was winning in the votes, but you know, that was that relevancy idea was something that I saw Raven Simone talking about. Is okay, Harriet Tubman, but couldn't you have found somebody with a little bit more?
You would expect her to say that
to the current time.
You would expect her to say that.
Poor
Why would you
Raven.
say that?
What you mean? Why would I say that? Have you seen her hair?
She continues to put her foot in her mouth.
What's wrong with that statement?
Well, she has
though?
a point now. What's the big deal of the N word? Raven was going around on a couple
Because
shows.
first of all, I don't hear nothing from her no more. Don't say nothing, but what's the line she said at the Cosby Show?
What did she even say? I don't even remember.
Just get quotes from the Cosby Show. That's it. That's all I need you to do.
If
that's
so
so Raven for
that?
She continues to put her foot in her mouth.
Seriously,
Don't treat her like Stacey Dash or something.
She's almost there.
This is what I'm saying.
Almost.
I don't want to hear. You talking about not want to hear from people? I don't want to hear from nobody born before 95.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry. Before what year was she born? We cut it off at whatever year she born. That's what we'll cut it off at.
She should be 30. I suspect she should be probably.
Okay, whatever that year is, her birth year. Cut off everybody early, younger than that. Don't talk.
Okay.
Especially if you in entertainment.
All right.
Why is that, sir?
The Smiths,
She
all them.
said she's from every continent from Europe and every continent from Africa.
Yeah.
I remember
And she
you
said
talking
it
about her Oprah
boldly.
interview, right?
No,
1985. So that's when she was born.
Okay,
1985.
everybody
This-
from 85 and up. No, stop
That
talking.
comment was just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that she's from every continent. In Africa.
Because of all the issues that she had with the Oprah interview, she did an Ancestry.com thing, which then told her she's from every continent.
Let's be honest.
We missing they missing that.
Is she the first? I got what you said, but is she
Everyone
the first? I mean,
in
we
Africa.
had not only entertainment, you know, celebrities have made that same mistake, but I mean, politicians have made that mistake. I mean, a lot of people make the mistake when it comes to referring to Africa as a multiple continent as opposed to multiple countries. That's happened a lot.
And Europe. She said she's from all of them. All of them.
I guess she's just trying to say she has pieces of her background that's connected to all of that.
And here's my thing.
But that's a part of this whole new concept that I'm just not black.
This
I'm
new
a part
black.
of
But
everything.
this is what I have a problem with. See,
You know,
she
a lot
did
of young
that.
people
She
have
did
that mindset.
Right. She said all that stuff, and what they do? Where they put her?
Right on the bird. Well, she's pretty much on the show now.
See?
Is she on the show now?
Yeah,
The
they're
View?
like really vying for
On
her
The
to be
View?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the View is dying.
So they're
This
trying
it
to
is,
get
but-
young people.
But the
quote,
point is, they put her on here sounding crazy,
crazy,
so they can talk about it.
cray.
Did you hear what she said this week?
Cray.
Is that what it is?
Well, that's to drum up ratings.
Yeah,
You always
she's
put a controversial person out
You know,
there.
drum my ratings, you know, whatever. But I'm talking about us looking bad. But as new black as she thinks she is,
Right.
I'm telling you what they see you as.
Right.
But again, like I said, it's a part of that new generation. It kind of goes in the same line. Now this young man, Will Smith, son Jaden
please,
Smith,
please,
like,
no. See that he part of the one to say.
So he's a part of that.
Actually, don't even
he's
come
a part
outside.
of that generation. You know what I'm
They
saying?
need to homeschool that boy.
They're breaking the boundaries of what is considered black. I mean, the most recent thing is they say he went to prom and he wore a superhero outfit.
A Batman
to prom.
It was
all
white.
white.
He had a cape.
Batman
He had,
costume.
and it looked like he had in the suit. It had
But
like the
honestly,
pockets, so it looked like he had the muscles or whatever.
what else can you do? Your parents are Will and Jada Smith. What else?
I'll just say this.
Except
care.
act the fool.
You've got to try and separate yourself
I
some
don't
kind of
get-
way.
Now, from that point, I do
wouldn't
get
let my
that.
son walk out of the house like that.
I do
I'm sorry.
get that, but
My son would not walk out of the house like that.
but your
Okay.
parents are Will and Jada, Philly, Baltimore. Why is that boy coming out the house like that?
Thank you.
Because he knows nothing about Philly nor Baltimore.
I understand that, but what
he
I'm
doesn't.
talking to Will and Jada right now.
He does.
Yeah.
Well,
Why is that boy coming out?
I don't even think
Well, he
they-
couldn't get him out of the
I
house
think
looking
they're
like that.
so far removed. I don't even think that
Yeah.
bothers them anymore.
You know what I'm saying? And,
Well,
you know,
that's
and
only the
you're
most
right,
recent
and that's
thing.
sad.
They've also seen him wearing skirts,
Yeah.
dresses as well.
See,
so,
that's
I
a
mean,
whole. But you know, I
it's,
can't.
again,
You know,
it's a
they
part
into
of that.
They
That's
into
that
that.
new generation that there are no boundaries.
No, they
to
ain't no
what
new
you can
generation. That's
do,
the devil.
quote,
They out there in
unquote,
Hollywood and they doing all that, whatever they doing.
That's not of God.
That's not of God at all.
In Calabasas.
That's not of God.
That's not of
I don't know
God.
what they doing out there, but it ain't Jesus.
They don't love God.
Well, where does that stop from freedom of expression? Where does our sense of judgment of what is right and wrong based on what we know
Right.
and what we were taught, when does that cross over into freedom of expression?
You know,
that's a good question, but I'm sorry. There's just certain things.
he's
you
not
just
coming
don't
to my
do.
house no back then.
don't
I would-
do.
But you can't use that. You can't.
I won't
run
even
to
let
that
you- hey,
extent, though,
you
that
might not
there's
even
just
wear that
something
on
you
Halloween.
don't do. Based on what? Based on what? Because we don't like it.
I mean, I understand,
Based on
and you know,
what's right.
now I
That
will
ain't
say
right.
this.
That's right. That ain't right.
I will say this.
That
That
ain't
is,
right.
I do admire that about this generation.
I do as well.
They are bold and they're
Enough
not
to be their true
afraid
self.
to be themselves.
Right. Got it. Right.
But what they, otherwise, I'm gonna say, well, at least
What
what
do they
some of them are
represent?
lacking is,
Direction.
yeah, that's what the word I'm looking for. Direction.
Direction.
As
or
far as having just
decorum,
sense.
Just
Not even that sense. The sense.
But common sense is not as common as it once was because it's not as utilized. Now
Yeah.
everything that you don't know, you can hit a button
Right.
and there's an answer there. You know, you go into the store and you give somebody money and you want exact change back, and if that computer breaks down, you can get ready to have a backup on our
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It's going to be
Oh
a
my
problem.
God.
That I assure you.
But Jeremy,
Manager, that's right.
you have a daughter. Let's say you open up the door. She's at her age where she's ready for prom. You open up the door and this is her date in a Batman costume.
No, we.
She going to prom, but not with him.
Well, wait a minute. Now, let's be honest.
You take you and your limo and go down the street.
No. Stop now. Y'all tell the truth. If that's Will Smith's son at your door, you'll say, well,
No, Will Smith's son can't come to my door like that. Not with my daughter.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
No,
He
not with
can't
my
go.
daughter.
No, he can't.
Not with my daughter. Now his daughter might be able to come pick my son up, looking crazy. But his son can't come get my daughter. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Well, maybe it's less threatening. If he pulls up with a cape, maybe you're not thinking the way he might be trying to get my daughter in the back seat.
No, now I know you are, because now you're trying to be a
He gonna
superhero.
Superman
You gonna
that.
convince, hey, I got superpowers.
Hey, what autos
Right.
about?
Superman.
What exactly?
Watch me
Hold on,
use.
what is in that utility belt? What pill are you pulling out of that? That's what I want to know.
Watch me use.
407-894-1680 is the number. 407-894-1680. But like I said, it's that new generation that there are no boundaries. That everything that quote unquote our generation, which is what we mid to late 30s. Everything that we thought is somehow crazy, and so they got this new formula that there are no boundaries. We're not black. We're why is everybody so focused on color? Blah 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 blah. And it's like I just can't get with it because we still live in America. One, and so there are unwritten rules in America, and then two, there is one, we know that there's still racism. even though racism is not on the scale that it was in the 50s or 60s, we know it still exists. And so we still have to find ways to survive in that world. And doing these kind of outlandish, I'm not this, I'm not that, to me, it just kind of, it doesn't help the cause. Let's say that. It doesn't help the cause in moving forward, because it just sends more mixed messages as to what is or what isn't the truth. And that's my biggest reason for not liking it. There's certain things you just don't do. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like inviting, other things into your life. Like the idea that, it's cool for a boy to walk out the house wearing a skirt. Like, no, that's not cool. There's just no planet where that's cool to me. You know what I'm saying? And, I hate to see those types of people doing it, because unfortunately the media at least wants to portray these messages to our kids that these are the people that maybe you can strive to be like one day. And that even bothers me even more. Really, because I don't know any planet where this dude is supposed to be my son or daughter's role model. I don't think so.
Any planet?
Because I don't see, I don't see where his, from the appearance that he gives me, I don't see where his line is to be able to do that. I mean, I think about it. The other day I was watching, which is actually hilarious as a side note, but the Justin Bieber roast. And so he's not even 18 yet. And he's in the audience.
He's grown. He's 21.
Jaden Smith is 20.
Oh, you said Jaden. Oh, I thought you were talking about Justin.
No, Jaden Smith. So, he's not even 18 yet, and he's in the audience with, everybody in here is an adult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey,
come on now.
Like he said, his parents are Woodland Jada. That boy can go anywhere he want to go.
You're right. I get that he can go in those places because of who he is. You know what I'm saying? Plus, he's in that world, but the idea that that's what he's been exposed to,
right. I understand.
That's something that I wouldn't want my son or daughter exposed to at that age. You know what I'm saying? Nah, not willingly. I know that they have access to it online, but I'm not just finna, hey, here's the ticket to go see this roast where they finna, use the N-word like it ain't nothing, cuss each other out. You know what I'm saying? Talk about the male and female anatomy like it ain't nothing. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to put my child in that sort of environment at that age. That's just me.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Ditto.
Well, that's because, again, we grew up with when adults were talking or in the room, there was a line that you did not cross between adults and children. Now you can be having a conversation with the adults, and the child will take over the conversation, and the adult will turn to the child and begin to have a conversation with that child about what you two were just two adults were talking. That is unheard of in certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
It happens to be unheard of in my part of the world, but that's just me. That's just me. But I do think there is something to be said about paying attention to a child when they come into the room or when they're talking to you. I understand that. But when you blur the lines, then it is difficult for them to understand boundaries. That's what you all were talking about direction. With the direction that I think, if I understand you correctly, you're referring to is the boundaries of what's appropriate. When you're going on your first interview, what should you wear? When you're going out to dinner with your boss, what should you wear? You hear all this talk about people having being up in arms because the children and parents are being up in arms because schools are now enforcing what children can wear to proms.
Right.
But there should be some decorum.
Right. Absolutely.
That when you're going to if you're going to a state dinner or you're invited to the White House, you should not have to read a manual on what to wear. It's like being in promotions when people tend to ask you, well, what can I wear? If you have to ask, can I wear this? That probably means you're not accustomed to going or you don't need to go.
That's the thing about prom, though, since you said that. The pictures that I've been seeing, these little girls, because they're still in high school, look like grown women.
Oh, yeah, that's that.
Dresses
that's that milk and that chicken.
I won't wear yet. And I'm like, but these dresses are too adult. They're too grown, and they look fly now. But I'm like, my mother would be like, no. 18, 17-year-old little girl.
But Beyonce wore a dress like that.
To what? Her prom?
And Kim Kardashian, that's the dresses they wear on the red carpet. That's what
they are
look
grown
like.
Women.
I understand that.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. The parenting.
Like.
The parenting needs to step in. That's cute. You want to wear that when you're an adult. You don't have to look like a little girl, but having holes all in your dress and the slits up the side, wearing thongs and stuff. High school?
Not to be too stereotypical, but the mama picked the dress out.
Probably.
Right.
She was like, oh, yeah,
And if she
Kim
didn't-
K had that on.
The mama wears dresses just like
And
that.
if she didn't pick it out, she paid for it.
It's so they're too grown.
And my grandfather used to say it like this: if it's not for sale, take the sign out the window.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
So, you know.
Oh, yeah. See, now that's a word right there.
So that old school.
That's a
right?
word
There's
right
a way to
there.
do
It's
everything.
not for sale.
You know? Yeah, there's a way to do everything. You know, they say. So I do agree that I was in Tampa recently, and when I tell you this girl had a plunging cleavage line, and the back was right above where if she had on any panties,
Yeah,
it would have been right there. Her entire back was out. And I thought, now what father sent that young lady out and said, Go be well.
ahead.
Have a good evening.
He wasn't at the house.
He wasn't at the house.
He wasn't at the
You
house.
look good, girl.
If he was, it would have been just like the guy
Who was at the
who
house?
the daughter showed up and he was waiting on with the belt. So yo, I heard you had went out the house. Like, oh,
Oh, really? I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
it was a video. The daughter had. She was like gone for like 2 days and come back home like nothing ain't happened. He was sitting right there waiting with a belt. So you think you grown? Beating her with a belt. Hilarious.
Yeah.
It's about hilarious that teacher breaking that fight up in that classroom with
the
them
belt.
kids.
With the
Now
belt.
that was funny. Them kids they was some tough kids. But he broke that belt out. Everybody turned back to their age.
Substitute teacher and Prince George.
Yes. It was so funny because like the belt bring out the age. Because as soon as he started swinging that belt, everybody reminded themselves, "Oh, I'm a kid," and they just start running.
That's right.
It was so funny.
Well, what do you think about those videos where the parents are putting their children on Facebook and like this? There's this latest one where the girl is 13 and her mother's making her tell everyone that you're not 13. Tell them how old you are, because apparently on her profile she said she was 19. So the mother has the camera on her and is. But I think that's berating and humiliating her unnecessarily.
To put it on Facebook.
I would
put
say
it on
to some
Facebook.
degree,
Yeah.
but I would say this. It's a lesson. It's a hard lesson. And one of them things, and some kids got to learn like that because she don't understand. She putting herself out on video on the internet that she's 19 years old. What can really come at her?
I got you.
So what? But it could be saving to some guys who honestly might not know.
Correct. I can appreciate that. But what happens when that same young lady now has a problem with La Sharik's daughter, and she feels like she has to handle that via social media? To me, her mother could have capitalized on a teachable moment and saying, this is how we're going to handle this in private, in a discreet manner, so that she's not taught to be to think that to be a social bully.
I got you.
Be
Right.
a social bully.
That's
Okay.
the thing. That's
Yeah,
what gets
yeah.
people in trouble. I think their intentions are good. They want to stop whatever's happening to their kid, but when they take it publicly, that's when that pushback and charges and all these things come
Yeah,
back
that's
because people
the-
want to
that's
put
the-
on a
Right.
show.
I
That's the
think
thing.
you
You
have
really
to
got to
handle
be
it correctly.
Just
yeah.
parent your child.
You
Don't
get
worry about
the
everybody
beating
else.
off camera, and
Yeah.
then you put her on camera to acknowledge the fact that she ain't 19 or whatever the case
There
may
you go.
be. You know what I'm saying?
Like-
but you
like-
don't need to put the beating on camera.
Right. Nah,
and on
yeah.
Facebook.
I don't agree with that.
Like the mother in Baltimore. All of us can agree, I'm certain, without even talking to you all about it, that mother who went up there with the
And slapping the
riding
kid.
and slapping the kid. Now, 2 weeks prior, had she done that, they would have nailed her to the cross.
Right.
Absolutely.
But because it's a cause that
Right.
the media says is okay,
Okay. Yeah.
then you can now go commence to whipping your child.
Right. Because they were like, oh, okay, well, where are the other mothers to do that in this
Right.
case? But that woman was just fearing for her child's life.
But that's
That's how bad it was. She
You
would
know, it
risk.
don't matter if
beating
under
him
different
up.
circumstances they would have took her to jail.
Yes,
Oh,
indeed.
absolutely.
Yes, indeed. If they
Absolutely.
didn't agree with it, she would be facing charges right now.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, they actually considered charges. It's that they just decided not to bring them.
They didn't want to deal with the public outcry.
And why? Because the public says,
Yep.
yeah,
That was
we
okay. Yeah.
You know, even me growing up, you wait until I get home. My mama get in my ear, you better act up and you wait till I get home. You get out of public. That whole thing. And you know, okay.
See, that's modern to me because my mother's policy is where you show out is where you get wore out.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
It
If-
could be in the store.
we were coming right into when
Show out, you
kids
want to-
would
I'm
say,
sure,
I'm going to call DCF. You call them and they can take you.
yeah.
and never bring you back. So it was that. Wait till we get home.
DCF was the initials of some relatives.
Yeah.
Right there in the store.
No.
You better wait till we get home.
And everyone in the store knew you got hit when you. Ow!
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Don't you
exactly.
ask
But you know,
nothing.
back then nobody cared either.
No.
They were like, get him.
Yeah, they be like, that's right.
And if they run, they'll cut you off.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Right.
Go back in there. Your mama call you.
They taking you runner. See?
Right.
See
They'll
what happened when you
grab
act
you,
up? Now
make
you
you
try
try to
something.
run.
You be right next to him.
That's right. That's right.
Not today though. Then they didn't call the cops on you and everything. They
Video
didn't put it on
of it.
cell phone camera.
Yes, yes.
Pull out the cell phone camera video. See, here it is right here, officer. I have it on tape.
Yep.
But
It's a shame.
yeah, man, it's like that though, man. It's like that. Go ahead. Were you going to say somebody say something?
I was gonna say that is part of why there's no direction with the children, because they don't respect authority, because now everything is so relaxed. You know, when years ago, what happened at your grandmother's house, it probably was being run the same way over to your neighbor's house. So if you couldn't run in your grandmother's, you couldn't go to your neighbor's and run. If you couldn't come from outside and go into your grandmother's refrigerator, you couldn't go down the street and do that. Now, every household is almost running independent.
Right.
Don't
Yeah.
say anything to my little pumpkin.
Yeah.
Because my
Right.
pumpkin wouldn't dare do that. Well, your
Right.
pumpkin's not the same pumpkin when you're not there.
Exactly.
You know,
Your pumpkin's a demon.
your pumpkin is a spawn of Satan.
Yeah.
Yes.
And see, and now
You
see,
can't tell mamas
and my
anything these
issue
days.
with that is, and that's the problem with the kids. Parents are not being honest with themselves about their kids' behavior. You know your child bad. You beat him all day at home, but the minute he step outside the house, act crazy, and somebody check him, now you got a problem.
My child?
Yes,
Yeah, your
the
child.
same one that knocked the window out in your car. Yes, him.
Yeah.
Him.
Well, he knocked the window out of the car
mine.
simply because that rock that he was trying to throw across it, the wind caught it and hit the. See, they always make excuses.
Yes.
Not their pumpkin.
So I got an excuse for you.
Yeah.
You let that rock come over here.
The teacher
I'm
calls.
gonna bust the other one out with his head.
The teacher calls, and then it's the teacher's fault. Well,
Right.
what other student was running in the hallway? That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Well, he-
irrelevant.
was he the only
was
one?
running. No, he
what I'm
wasn't,
saying.
but I caught him.
That's right. Well,
He the one I saw. He the one turned around and say, F you.
He told me you don't like him anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, all that. And you know what? That is so insane. I mean, when you really think about it, it's like, and I guess it really is, and most of them, I guess, stems from ignorance, but like you don't really realize what you're doing to your child when you start making excuses for them in elementary school. And when they get to high school, you wonder why you can't tell them nothing.
No accountability.
Yeah.
No accountability. The worst thing a parent can do is to strip their child of accountability.
Right.
Because now, stop doesn't mean stop. So they get on this road and the police says stop.
I ain't got to stop.
I don't respect authority.
Right.
I didn't do nothing. You don't have a right to stop me.
Right.
It didn't matter whether you did.
And then you shot.
You're shot.
Yeah.
Whereas parents used to say,
You shot.
if you are wrong, if another adult is talking to you, tell me about it.
Right.
And I'll go
I'll
check
figure
right.
it out.
Right.
No, don't you do it, because if not, you're going to be looked as disrespectful.
Right.
Exactly. You're right. The boundaries are gone. Speaking of piggybacking on the topic related to kindergarten, it's a little bit different direction, but still dealing with kindergartens. I was listening to a program today, and they were talking about there's a man on there going off about this idea of praising children unnecessarily. And so in this particular instance, what he was referencing was the idea that we have graduations for kindergarten. And what is the purpose of having a kindergarten graduation? Like, what are we celebrating in that particular sense? You know, it goes, you know, and it piggybacks for me just the idea that today, you know, when children are on a baseball team at the end of the year, everybody has to get a trophy. You know, we can't just have an MVP trophy or, you know, most improved trophy. No, we got to have a participation because you were there trophy as well. I mean, what do you think that's doing to the kids? Or is kindergarten graduation necessary?
Well, I remember I had one.
I would say this. I'm biased.
Preschool.
Yeah, I know pre-K
Yeah,
from
we
pre-K
do
to
the-
kindergarten.
Going-
graduation.
okay, yeah,
but
that's
I'm
what
talking
I
about
had.
a kindergarten.
No, you
You
don't.
finish
I
kindergarten,
think-
we're gonna graduate
You
to the
go
first
on the
grade.
first grade.
Well, why do you need one at 5th grade? Why do you need one at 8th grade?
See,
Why do you
but-
need one at 12th grade?
But I see.
do
The first,
that.
I was gonna go to the 5th and the 8th because we're not used to that here. But I know up north they do that, and I always like, why? You supposed to get out of the 5th grade. You supposed to get out of the 8th grade. Now high school is a little bit more of a challenge for some people, but like
I get the high
I'm
school.
not ceremonial in general. So like I said, I can speak by bias. I don't want to go no graduations. I just don't like them. They just boring to me. It's a waste of time.
Right.
But I can understand high school, and I can kind of understand the going into leaving preschool, going to kindergarten, because you kind of starting all kind of new stuff, And then the high school, like I said, you technically done with school that you have to. Well, you can't say have to do, but you're done with that. Technically, you're not. That's kind of like graduating from childhood.
Right, it's graduating from childhood to adulthood. If you will. I get that one. I even get the pre-K one because you're leaving. What was a very I guess motherly environment. Really, you know what I'm saying in terms of preschool, and then going to it's a little bit of a step up. They still holding your hands, but I mean it's a little bit of a step up. But getting out of kindergarten. Like, first of all, if you can't go to kindergarten, we looking at you. Like, something wrong with that kid.
Well, I don't know now, because if you look at some of this kindergarten homework nowadays, the game has changed. But I think that maybe the sentiment is because everyone doesn't necessarily go to pre-K. So maybe by having a kindergarten graduation, it's instill a sense of excitement. Mm-hmm. But I think when you put in the 5th grade and 8th grade now, I guess they're almost like benchmark graduations.
Yeah, I guess. You
know what I mean? And the sad commentary is when my sons, I have a son, Junior, who is 22, almost 23. When he finished 8th grade going into the 9th grade, I said, we're going to buy this 8th grade yearbook, and then we'll buy another one in 12th grade. And that would tell you who made it and who did not.
Right.
I didn't buy one every year. I always
I like that. Yeah.
So that way, if they're in the 12th grade, you saw them 9th grade, 10th grade. You don't need to buy a book each year, right? But I think that when the 5th grade, 8th grade, you don't need that. Kindergarten, I think that is about celebrating that child, getting them excited about school.
Right.
12th grade, I think, of course, that is for some people. That's the best achievement, the highest achievement they get.
Some people.
For some people.
For some people. For a lot of people.
Yeah.
but again, I can get high school because you're really transitioning at that point because you're no longer going to be you no longer have to be in a school environment, and so you're leaving and you're really graduating to another level in your life. But yeah, I don't know, that kindergarten thing just seems like I said, you're supposed to get out of kindergarten. I mean, seriously. Like I said, if you can't get out of kindergarten, people looking at you like, your kid may not be the brightest in the bunch.
No, if the child ain't getting out of kindergarten, that's not the child's fault.
That isn't the child's fault.
That's the parents' fault.
That is a failure of the
child
parents.
should be ready for school when they enter school.
Yeah, right. And even if they behind, your child behind, so you need to kind of put a little extra effort to get them ABCs and 1, 2, 3s down.
And let's be honest, we're talking about being honest with parents. Mm-hmm. If you weren't the brightest in school,
right,
and your La Sharik wasn't the brightest,
right,
you're probably going to have Junior La Sharik, and she probably won't be the brightest. Yeah. I don't know this to be true, but the math adds up to me. Okay.
So you got to put in, if education is important to you, you got to put in a little extra work.
It should be, and recognizing that when you take your child to school, it's not a daycare. These are teachers to help learn, but there needs to be learning at the home as well. You can't rely on the teachers to teach everything.
Right.
Well, it's the teacher's job to teach my child.
And that is so wrong.
That's why I pay my taxes.
That's right.
No, it is more than that. You are still very much responsible for your child's education. I used to hate when my mother would pick me up with one of the booklets. And on the way home, I'd have to do one of the booklets or workbooks of stuff.
That's
Mama,
right.
You just pick me up. I still have homework to do. Why do I have to do? Because you're not going to be one of them statistics.
That's right.
And you literally just picked me up. Why do I have to do more?
Because I don't know what you did in there.
That's exactly what she said.
But I know what you're doing here.
Hello. That's exactly
I'm sorry
what
about that, Mrs. Cray. You sound traumatized by
I am.
You probably don't need like pamphlets.
Mom.
She be waking up. Booklets.
You just picked me up.
And we are aware that you're saying it with a lot more vigor than you probably
I'm
said
just
it.
saying. But I get it now. I get it and I appreciate it.
Right.
And I probably do it to my child too.
Right.
Because it takes that extra work. Especially my weaknesses. That's what she would attack me on. So then when I would get to my homework, I would be warmed up. I wouldn't just let the rest go because whatever my weakness was maybe have been early in the day. The last class was like PE or whatever. So my mind wasn't on math. And when I had to do this homework, I'm like, what? Mm-hmm. So she was warming up my brain for the homework. I would be still upset though. I was like, can I get a break? Like, I just left. You just picked me up. I just put the seatbelt on. I get it, though.
Now get this booklet down.
Now get this booklet.
Yeah.
And eat your snacks.
That's correct. And change your clothes.
And change your clothes. And change your clothes.
And change your clothes.
You smell like outdoors.
You smell like outdoors.
Go take a bath.
And where you get that stain from?
Yeah. Go in there and put your play clothes on.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
right.
it.
But, you know, they feel like some parents tend to feel like it's the teacher's responsibility, but they don't take any personal responsibility that little Billy didn't know how to spell his name. He could recite the alphabet, but if you showed him a letter, what is that letter? He had no clue.
Right.
You know,
His word.
but there's no ownership in that. You know, and it's a sad commentary. And when you're behind going to kindergarten, statistics shows
You're going to be behind.
you're going to be behind.
You're going to continue to be behind.
Correct.
Oof.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing offset that gap.
Right.
Right. Definitely. Well, you know, they're trying. That's what supposedly all of these programs that are out there for. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, when I heard that today, I was like, yeah, I agree, man. What you doing? Graduating from kindergarten? I was like, come on, wussification of America. That's the problem. Right?
Yeah, it is. Like you were speaking about the trophies and all that stuff.
Trophies. For
I don't like
everybody.
all the trophies. I don't like the mercy rules in Little League.
I don't either.
Hey,
I don't either.
sometimes the only way you get better is by getting beat.
And
Right.
you didn't win.
You got to
Right.
fail.
Yes.
You
That's
learn from failure.
part of getting better. That's part of getting mentally tougher.
You got to have something to
Absolutely.
aspire to.
And not only that, it's going to see, do you have fight in you?
That's correct.
Yeah.
You know, or are you just willing to lay down and accept that I'm defeated?
Correct.
Or do you want to say, no, I'm not going to sit here and get beat every week. Something's got to change.
'Cause
Right.
you don't know what losing is.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know what losing
I
is.
don't like that ribbon for everything.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's wind it down. Just one last comment on that, though. The gentleman's point he was talking about. He's an employer, and he talked about how one of his employees came to him and said, you know, it's been a couple of weeks and nobody's told me thank you for doing a great job. And he was like, really?
See, and
I don't
that's
need
the
to tell
problem.
you thank
You
you.
grown, right? You grown.
Did
looking
I
for
pay you that
validation.
week? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That was your appreciation.
That's your thank you,
That's your
right?
appreciation.
Hey, man, we want to thank
You
y'all
did
for
get that.
listening.
It did hit your account, right?
Yeah, exactly. It didn't bounce, right? So that was the thank you needed. But we want to thank you for listening. Thanks, Rob, for joining us tonight, man.
Yes,
we
sir.
enjoyed it, man. Make sure you tune in next week, 9 p.m., Real Family Talk. Check out the Facebook page, Real Family Talk. Check out the Twitter page, Real Family Talk as well. And just let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you think of the program. We always love to hear
Website.
from you as well. This is WOKV 1680 AM, your urban empowerment and inspiration station, sir. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to Real Family Talk. This is one of your co-hosts, Jeremy, a.k.a. Younger Brother. Tune in next week from 9 to 10 p.m. and every Wednesday from 9 to 10 p.m. on WOKB 1680, your urban empowerment and inspiration station. See you.
My brother, my brother.
You're listening to 1680 WOKB AM, Winter Garden, Florida.